Welcome to the Author's Corner. My name is Marisa Bludorn. I am your host, and I am so excited to be here with you today, as always. And we are focusing and throughout this month on the importance of the publishing process and branding of your book. If you're thinking about being an author or you are an author, we not only publish, but we also republish. If you've never done the bestseller campaign and are interested in making your book a bestseller, we would be more than happy to help you do that. Taking center stage and owning it with me is the contributing writer team. And also there's Teresa Palmer. She's a part of our contributing writer team and a best-selling author as well. We have Coach Tiffany Para. She is the editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Magazine, but she's also a contributing writer for Own It Magazine and Publishing. We are so excited because Tiffany has a huge project that she's in the process of launching, and we're going to dive right into that, and we're going to go deep because she is talking about, we were backstage and we got a little excited backstage, talking about some of the challenges and some of the things that you go through when you're publishing a book project. And so we want to talk to you about that, give you some tips on how you can make the process more efficient. Because at the end of the day, when you're publishing your book, you should really, really be enjoying it. It is a huge achievement. It is major, depending on what you're writing. One of the psychologies behind publishing a book is when you go to publication, and I already talked about that. When you're writing, you're excited about your project. People are telling you, yeah, go for it. But the minute you publish, it's like now the whole world can see it. And then there's that anxiety that comes like, did I do a good job? Should I have done this? Or should I have even published at all? And so what this platform is designed to do is to help you get past that and to realize that your story can help someone else get to their glory. And so we want to just really encourage you to stay connected, get to know us. And if there's anything that we can do, not outside of going live and talking to you about some of our tips, you can work with us directly in any area that you that resonates to you. So when we're having this dialogue and maybe Teresa says something to you that really resonates with you, don't hesitate. Get in touch with Teresa. She's on social media. She's on Facebook, I believe LinkedIn, and IG. Reach out to Teresa directly. Reach out to Coach Tiffany. And if you resonate with something that I say, hey, reach out to me as well. And so we want to talk. I'm going to spotlight you, Tiffany, because you have a project that's right in the thick of things that you're getting out. It's called Unsnap. Talk to us a little bit about what made you do this particular project, and then talk about the challenges and the triumphs that you had on the publishing side. Share with our audience, Tim.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today, having me on the team, Marisa. Thank you all for just joining us today, and I hope that you get some great tips and tools to get out there and get your projects out there. So Unsnapped is understanding necessary solutions needed to apply positive principles, ending destruction. Yes, it's a long acronym, but guess what? It's very powerful. So Unsnapped it was actually birthed because of all the crazy, chaotic stuff that's going on in the world. I was watching the show Snapped, and actually, Teresa, you had brought up Snapped, and it is what I love that show. I mean, I just do, because it's like, how crazy are some people out there to do just some things that take them, to the place of no return. You got people out there hurting each other. You got people out there. I tell a little bit of a story about a guy that hurts a dog in a road rage issue. Okay. So there's people out there snapping about just crazy stuff. And I wanted to be able to teach them how to be unsnapped, because that's what we need. We need to be calm, cool, and collected in today's society. We need to learn the power of the pause. And I talk about the power of the pause in the book, because if you know the power of the pause and you know how to just stop, take a nice deep breath, think about what you're about to do before you do it, that's going to save you so much, just so much in life. And that's what the book is all about. So we went out and we found some awesome authors like yourself Marisa to share some experiences that they've gone through in life where someone or some situation has brought them to almost that brink of no return. But they had that superpower of being unsnapped and knowing how to stay on the other side of it so it didn't take them down. So I am so excited about this project. I'm so excited. It's coming out on Thursday. So we definitely need y'all's help to get us to that #1 best-selling slot. So please, please, please purchase that ebook when it comes out on Thursday. And let's celebrate these authors for what they've done and everybody involved in this, in this project. I know, Marisa, you were talking about, talk about some of the challenges. This is now my 4th book that I'm publishing. I have self-published. I have a team now because after the last book, we said, you know what? We're doing this publishing. We've got a team of editors and graphic designers and things. Why not go ahead and start our own publishing company? So we do have the Girl Powerhouse Publishing Company that is publishing this book as well as the men's edition that's coming out in June. So you're getting the women's version of things because we do know how to navigate a little different. We maybe
Yes.
navigate a little softer sometimes, or sometimes we may snap a little more. So I wanted everyone to really hear both sides of being snapped on both the women's and the men's. So that's what we did here. So it's
Oh,
amazing.
oh my God. And you know that we do need to include the men.
We
We do,
do. We
women
do.
do a lot when it comes to collaborating and getting to the finish line. Men have
It's tough.
ideas, but because they sometimes don't have the skill set. Like you had all the women come together and everybody brought their skill set to the table, and you formed an organization behind it.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
men don't know how to get to that point. They always need the women to do that stuff, and so we
But they
got to
stay on it though. They were on it with, I mean, getting them deadlines and things like that on it.
right,
But that is one of the problems that you can come into when you're a publisher is getting everybody to turn in their stuff. Life happens.
yeah,
I mean, we right now have an editor that we really had to support on a personal level because she had some really, crazy health things going on. So we have supported her in that. We told her, hey, you know what? It's time for you to step back, take care of yourself because health is first.
yes,
And other people getting different jobs and hours changing and things like that. And you really just have to be able to give people grace, but you also have to be able to have that stern voice as well to say, hey, we are in this together and we do have a deadline and we got to get it done regardless of what's going on. I'm here to help
right,
you where I can, but let's get this done. And that's
yeah,
what we're doing.
yeah, and that's what you have to do when you have to step in as the coach. You have to tell them like, hey, we got to get this thing done, and that happens as well. And so that's the parts where it's not always glorious, um, but it is the part that also too prepares you, gets you seasoned for what's next. And bear with me because I'm looking for the covers. Oh, we got to see these snap covers because they are fun. They're fun,
Yeah.
but they're also too. Your messaging is very very important in the sense that um, the power of the pause is to that pause gives you the opportunity to really count the cost
Right.
because what is it called, temporary insanity.
Right.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real where you just had enough is enough is enough, and you
Right.
do what? Snap.
Yeah.
But the importance of, and we talk about this over and over and over again, is about self-awareness. You have to know what ticks you off. I say this: you have to know what makes you tick and what ticks you off, and how to navigate around that. Right? You got to know yourself. You got to know because at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to give an account for your behavior.
That right there.
You are going to give an account to your behavior. So, without further ado, you're probably wondering, why is she looking over here? Why is she looking over here? Because I was trying to find the snap.
Yes. Unsnapped.
That's the cover for the women. This is the cover for the men. All righty. Very nice, very fun. Just like your personality, Tiffany. When I think about your projects, I think about your personality, how you're showing up through the projects, and it really reigns through, especially as a creative. If I'm doing a project, I'm always considering the client, not me.
Yeah.
What is the client, their personality, what is it that, how is my work going to bring their vision to life.
Yeah.
And so it's not always about me. People say to me, I had a client the other day say, Marisa, well, you're the professional. Yeah, I'm the professional. I'm going to make you look professional so that your stuff sells. When it comes to the details, it's about you, not me. It's about what you desire, not what I desire. And I love watching your work because
Oh,
your
thank you.
personality always shines through and all that you do. You make it important, but you make it light. I think sometimes when we're giving instruction or we're teaching or coaching, facilitating, sometimes we make things so heavy that
Right.
people don't have the ability to walk in what we're telling them that they can walk in and do. And so the power of the pause, again, very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. And I think I'm going to have you chime in, Teresa, because I know you're sitting on the edge in regards to that power of the pause. What are your thoughts about the power of the pause, too? Because that's, in this particular project, is very, very important.
Yeah, I think in life in general, it's so important. Do you remember? I know when I was growing up, and my mother would always say to me, take a breath, count to 10, and then either give an answer or proceed. And she always said, because you don't want to do something that you're going to regret later.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
she said, and taking that breath automatically turns off the stress hormones because it activates the vagus nerve, which is our sympathetic nervous system, the peace and calm. So just by taking that breath and then pausing, you regroup. You have time to reset yourself because you don't want to do something silly or something that you'll regret. And I know there's times I've done things where, say, I've been even temporarily, I did some locums work. And I remember times that I didn't know what was going on. I got so frustrated. And a couple of times I sent these emails that, thank God, the people understood, but
Mm.
it really could have cost me that temporary work at the time because I didn't think what I
right,
was writing. I was just so frustrated. It was like, this is impossible. I can't do this. How do and people don't want to hear that.
right,
And, it could be so dangerous because if you snap and road rage, you regret that the rest of your life.
absolutely.
And if you take
Yeah,
that moment, that pause, and add a breath, it puts a whole different spin on it
yeah,
because now you're balancing your thinking. It's not that pre-programmed response of, somebody cut me off, let me go and do something. It's let me think about it,
right.
because
Mhm.
there's dire results if you don't think about it. Not everything is, but you could certainly put yourself in a position where you're going to regret it the rest of your life.
Right.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Look,
yes.
and I'll tell you, my chapter is orange is not my color. So, y'all remember.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Yes, honey. I listen. I'm so with you. I listen. That is my pause right there. Um, and so you talked about the challenges in publishing, and also too, I wanted to hit on um, what we really wanted to focus on today in regards to editing and publishing your manuscript and how to refine and polish the manuscript for public before publishing. Um, you know, it's so important. I remember I had my first book when I did own it. Well, it was Take Center Stage, and I think that you guys, I've shared that enough. That when I first started out, it was TCS, Take Center Stage. The missing part and the most powerful part was owning it. You can take center stage all day, but how you take center stage makes a big difference. And so me not knowing, I'm like, this is my first time becoming an author, and I really didn't know what I wanted to write, because my personality is I'm very professional, but I'm very, very passionate and inspirational. And how do you couple all of that together after having your hands smacked several times for saying you're too radical in your belief system, you're too radical in your thought system. And I'm pretty sure today, it's just that I had a lot of wisdom at a very early age and stage in my life. And so figuring out how to, like, oh my God, how am I going to write this book? How's my focus going to be? And it didn't feel authentic to me, to be honest with you, the first time I published, because it was 5 steps to take center stage. And I'm not really that kind of a structured person. 5 steps that I kept saying, can I grab hold of this? Like, what is this? So I went ahead and pushed myself past it, right? And went and published. And one of the comments was from one of my closest friends. She says, did you have the book edited? And I said, yeah, I had the book edited. Why would you say that? She never came back to say to me, oh, well, I saw this, that, and the other. And when you give someone feedback like that, always follow up and give them an explanation. Don't leave them hanging, because it's huge to publish a book. It's huge to put your story out there, to be transparent. It's huge to do what we do on a regular basis, to come out, to share our wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and experience. And when we get feedback, it's not that we're insecure. When you give feedback, you want to give knowledge, and you want to make sure that the full understanding is made, because when you do something like that, you just leave a person in limbo. And so I say that to say, I did have my book edited by a professional. I also had a coach in writing my first book. That was my confidence level, that I didn't just write the book on my own, that I did actually have a coach who did work with me in publishing the first book. But editing is so very important. Editing takes the onus out of you as the author, writing the book, trying to do it all yourself. Editing gives a professional view of the book, so that if there's any feedback that they need to give to you, you get the right feedback, that you're not biased only to yourself and doing the work. Teresa, you have a publishing house that you work with and have worked with in the past. Talk to the audience in regards to why it's so important to make sure you have a polished book when it's done.
Yeah, I think we all have the material to write a book, but it's how you say it. And what, in my instance, I had been working with my patients doing a program called Heart Consciousness. It's actually taking heart health to the next level, working on your inner landscape, doing a lot of things for yourself. And I knew what I was doing. But when I wrote it down, I didn't want it to sound clinical. I didn't want it to sound dry. I also did it in 2020, and we know what that was like. So you also had to be careful with what you said, how you said, especially as a healthcare professional. And I am a nurse practitioner. My expertise is holistic cardiology. So when I wrote this, I needed it to be professional, but I needed it for lay people so that they could really understand it. So I went to a traditional, I was fortunate that I got published by Balboa Press, which is the sister company to Hay House. And when they looked at the manuscript of the book, they thought it was dry. That was the first thing they said to me, that it was dry. So I listened to them. But now I should go back because I published the book twice. I published the book in 2020, I published the original one, which I called Empowered for Wellbeing. And Balboa Press looked at it and they said, it's a good topic. It's timely. It's a little dry. They suggested that I also get a coach. They did some editing. I did look at their editing and I thought, okay, I want to get the book out because it's 2020. People need to know how to be responsible and take care of themselves. So they rushed with me. we got the book out very quickly, right in the middle of 2020. Well, it was funny because I had been on and off following somebody who does many things, but is also an intuitive. And she was doing a live on Instagram, and I got called on. And the first thing she said to me, she knew nothing about me. She knew nothing about the book. And she said, you did something without your own energy in it. And
Mm.
it's not going to be successful because it's not you. She said, could
Right.
you tell me, was it a project? I said, I published a book. And she said, well, it's not going to go anyplace because it's not you. She
Mm.
said, people aren't identifying with it because it doesn't have your personality, it doesn't have your energy. Well, with
Mm.
that, I looked at it again. I got some feedback from my patients who said, yeah, it's okay, but it's nothing to write home about.
Mm.
Okay. So I went back to the drawing board, back to Balboa Press, and I got a coach through KN Literary, which is very good, Kelly Nortris Literary. And she works with Hay House. And the coach got me to write some personal stories, to change names, but write personal stories about how people were able to help themselves. And we decided to change the name, About Healing the Heart. So with that said, 2 years later, the book got published again through Balboa Press as a revision. And for a while, when I was publicizing it, it did do much better. And then I stopped kind of publicizing it. And I could honestly say I've done nothing in the past couple of years to promote my book. I'm not proud of myself for saying that, but it's the honest truth. There were a lot of personal things that went on. There were also a lot of things that got me off track. But I think publishing a book and having your particular energy in it, and
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if you do, say you have a chapter in a book. Well, you put your energy into that chapter
Right.
so that it becomes a collective energy, and it also becomes the publisher, the idea person, the one that put it together. It's got to have their energy. When you do your own book, it's got to reflect who you are. It
Mhm.
can't reflect what you think. And honestly, in 2020, there was a lot of things that I was afraid to say because I knew that if I said certain things, my license could be on the line. And I
Mm.
had to be very, very, very careful as a healthcare professional what I was saying, how I was saying it, and most importantly, how it could even be interpreted by
Yes.
other people. So that's the side now, and we could be more ourselves. And I think I learned a valuable lesson that you have to be yourself. You have to put your own energy in that book. You have to write from your heart, write with passion.
Mhm.
Whether, my book isn't a personal story, it's got personal stories in it of how patients were helped by what I do, changing their names and whatnot. But again, it had to be my energy. How
Yeah.
do I bring that energy of what I do into that book? Because you become the brand. It's great to have marketing and branding, but in the end, you're the brand.
Yeah.
People know you, whether it be a chapter, whether it be a whole book, whether it be 10,000 books. It's your branding. And if you look at some of the authors, it's their brand. What do they write about, whether it be fiction? It's their energy that people are connecting to. So I
Yeah.
think that's even important with a marketer. You have to get somebody that understands energy, not somebody that just has a template
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
has been doing it for 20 years. And there's their template. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So again, it's all about us. It's all about our energy. And it's a wonderful thing to write a book. It's so fulfilling. It really is. And when you look at it, sometimes it's hard to believe that you actually did that. And it becomes your calling card for speaking engagements, for social media, for different things.
Yes. Yes, it does. Does. And here is her book, Filling Your Heart from Within. Hmm. And so there you go. And so It is, and I thank you, Teresa, for your transparency, because that was for me. That was it. It was just like, but what I had to do in order for me to get where I am today, I had to push past that disconnection.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it brought me to a place of arrival too. It brought me to a place of clarity. It was one of the steps in the process. So sometimes we want to think that everything is just going to work out, and it's going to, and when it doesn't work out all smooth and perfect, you think that you're off track or it's not right. Trust me, what Teresa said is, if you do not market your book is not selling. And I don't care what publishing house is behind you. They will do what their contract and agreement is there for you. But you are the author. You still got to show up for any of their the dates that they put on your calendar. You are the one who still has to show up. Any book signings that they schedule for you, you still are the author that has to show up. We talk about it all the time. We have one in our group that she's trying to hide from public speaking. Listen, if you want to sell anything or you want to do anything in life, you have got to become a public speaker,
Absolutely.
no matter what. Because you, in order for you to market, you have to learn the art of persuasion. You got to, and it's not the art of the hustle. It's the art of just letting people know that, hey, here's my perspective. And if you resonate with this, then, hey, come and glean. That's all that is, because we are all designed differently, because we all offer a different perspective. We all offer something that someone else in the room is going to resonate. Not everyone in the room is going to resonate to me, and I'm good with that. Some are going to resonate to Tiffany. Some are going to resonate to Teresa. It's just how we are drawn, just like the energy that we send out. Is the energy, once someone in the room is connected to that, they're going to respond to that. They're going to respond. That's like, those are my people, right? And that's exactly what they're going to do. And that we have to be authentic, because you don't want to attract the wrong people trying to be something that you're not. Because oftentimes, all things are made manifest in the light, right? So when you turn the light switch on, something you can't see in the dark, but when you turn that light switch on, we're going to see it all. And so it's best to just be authentic to yourself. Get the support that you need. So I'm just going to read out to what our points were today. Editing and publishing your manuscript. The theme is how to refine and polish your manuscript before publishing. Key concepts: self-editing tips, working with professional editors, beta readers, proofreading. Beta readers are really, really good. Lulu does that a lot. I don't, but Lulu does. I love it, because you know why I point out our differences, because I want people to understand it's okay to be different. Focus. Strategies for editing your manuscript. Knowing when to seek professional help is key, and we talked about that.
Yes.
Prepping for your publication. Give yourself a timeline. People don't readily use the SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You should do that with your projects. Also, to be smart, use the SMART approach. Be specific, give yourself a timeline which is measurable, and make sure that it's realistic and achievable, and give yourself a deadline. So with that being said, Tiffany, you are up and closing us out, because you have the project that we are getting ready to bombard and support. So share with our audience again how they can help you this Thursday. Help us, because I'm one of the authors.
Absolutely. So again, very, very excited about Unsnapped, helping people to get Unsnapped out there so they can learn the power of the pause. That is our really, really, like that's our goal. That is our goal, to help you guys to stay unsnapped. So this Thursday, the women's edition is coming out. We need you guys to all get out there on Amazon, purchase, download that ebook, flip through the back of it, give all these authors that 5-star review, because I'm gonna tell you, they deserve it, because they did some serious work on this. Telling stories like this, being authentic and true, and sharing stories of you getting to the other side of things is so important. And when y'all read my stories, y'all gonna be like, wait, what? Her? No, she didn't deal with that. And this she didn't snap either? No. But just get out there, get the book so you can learn how to be unsnapped as well. And next month get the men's edition too. I'm gonna be back on here before then to share about the men and to celebrate all the wonderful men that stepped up as well. But I want to say to the authors out there, you included, Marisa, congratulations on a job well done. You guys did amazing. And if y'all are interested in just being a part of a fun project, I love doing these projects. I love these anthologies. We've got the Becoming a Girl Powerhouse with 45 women sharing their stories from trauma to triumph. Now we got people talking about being unsnapped. We're going to be looking for HR managers to talk about some of these HR things that go on in the office. Let's do it. But Thursday, I need your help to just download that book. Get that education on getting unsnapped. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Marisa, for this platform. Teresa, thank you for sharing the stage with us today. You're always amazing as well. And everybody have an amazing day. I am so excited.
Yeah. And make sure you go and check out Teresa's book, Healing the Heart from Within. Very good book. I've read the testimonials, and excellent job, Teresa. Love you so very much. And thank you for always showing up in the way that you do. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out. Remember that Tiffany said orange is not her color, and neither should it be yours. Like we're out.
Okay.